Um, Hello and welcome to Only Mr. God Knows episode 2. Yeah, 2. The protracted Eurovision miniseries that is basically just promo for the live charity show we do. I'm here with annual returning guest now at this point. Your real Eurovision head, Chris. How are you getting on?
I'm good. I'm glad to be back. I have appreciated you being my guide into the world of Eurovision these last 3 years, I believe now.
Yep.
And yeah, I just rewatched all the clips for this year, and am excited to dive back into the wonderful world of European Vision.
Yeah, it's European Vision with Israel and Australia.
Yeah, my European Vision is 2020 now.
Excellent. All right, so I guess I think we can just start. We just head into it. I'm going to be like Mark Maron here. Like, who's your guys?
Okay, so I'll start with my overall thoughts this year, which is that it seems like the big. Okay, two things.
Yeah.
This year, I think that overall for all the entrants, the floor is much higher, but the ceiling is a little lower. There's a baseline kind of competence and like okayness to everything that I found, interesting, but it also but also there wasn't as much stuff that I was blown away by or, really latched onto.
Yeah.
So everything's kind of in this okay middle for me. And then the other big thing that I thought is that, I mean, this is, I guess, kind of always, but a big like 90s Euro electronic trend, like a lot of people going to that well. With kind of like the trance choruses, a lot of riffing on kind of Alice DJ, Better Off Alone, style stuff that made a lot of the stuff a little harder to stand out, because there were a lot of tracks where I'm like, this is a lot like everything, all these other tracks. But I don't know, there were a few that really stood out for me, and a few that especially that came from, I think the other thing I would say is it's funny after 3 years of getting used to and knowing the like country house style of being like, yep, this sure is a Finland track.
Yeah, right. It is amazing. I would say like very few countries in this competition are predictable, but you start noticing the ones that are like can bring the same thing every year, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah. And it might just be the 3-year run that I've been on, but it's like France seems to deliver the same kind of thing all three years we've been doing it. Finland, less samey, but more like, oh yeah, the Finns would do a track like this. Croatia, the last 2 years, I feel like they've had a similar type of thing that I've liked both times.
I'd say, France. The France thing is recent, actually, in terms of like since you've kind of like been coming on to this, because like they've just been hitting the like there's a key in the office that just says France, and they just keep pressing it over and over again. More France.
The big female dramatic ballad. Classy.
Yeah, very classy. Well, like, okay, so I don't think I got to tell you this because this came out actually way later, but the big classy lady from last year for France, so there was like a handful of scandals around her. One,
really?
The stupid like far right scandal, which is she's Quebecois. So some French people were angry about that. She's not real French.
Did that not give the world Celine Dion? Hasn't that been a proven record of creating some of the one of the greatest singers of recent history?
Yes, but France would never. Celine Dion represented Switzerland.
Oh, okay.
But the more interesting scandal was it came out that she was forced to dye her hair blonde so she wouldn't look like an Arab.
Okay.
She's not Arab.
But they were just in the green room blasting c'est l'arabique.
Yeah, and then also the other side of it seems to be like the handler for the French national broadcaster she just seemed to have like some sort of like crush on her. Like she's a woman, a classic French situation, massive age gap in a way that's cool.
Okay. the Macron.
Yeah, probably a little bit better than a Macron situation, but yeah. So that was weird, but France this year is definitely delivering. With the electronic stuff, I definitely know what you're talking about, because I feel like we're kind of like progressing in time, because I feel like last time we had more like classic Eurodance, and now we have kind of what I think like late 90s kind of just like trance. I'm hearing a lot of the gated synth. Yeah. Less your every time we touch, and more your Darude Sandstorm.
Sure. Yes. I mean, that is the thing is that I have noticed these few years is overall the trends and styles that they're hitting is like, oh yeah, this would have been like, this is the production sound of a top 10 like EDM pop song in America 5 to 6 years ago, you know? So, you know, which I guess is reasonable. But yeah, I do think that some of that, it makes sense, because I do think that 90s Euro production style is coming back into vogue even in like American pop music.
Yeah.
You know, you even see like, I think that there were one or two people who I saw like kind of overtly aping a kind of Charlie production, which, you know, that Charlie album has a lot of those kind of acid synths to it. I mean, it feels very modern, but it's drawing from, as she says, club classics, you know?
Yeah, she's kind of like a spin-off or directly involved in like the PC music stuff.
Yeah.
Which was like directly
A.G. Cook,
directly like we're referencing kind of Eurodance, super sweet and sour kind of sounds.
And hey, don't get me wrong, that stuff is great.
Yeah.
I would love to be going crazy with a pacifier in my mouth and a Ibiza in 1999, you know?
You still can, Chris. It's like that in Ibiza today.
It's like 1999 never ended.
Yeah, except the only difference is the locals will shoot you now because over tourism's a problem.
They finally decided, hey, this is more annoying than it's worth.
Yeah, exactly. The water shortages are getting into a problem, and we can't give it to the Brits just trying to fuck.
Yeah, well, that's definitely a problem if everybody's on MDMA, because you drink way too much water then.
Exactly. Okay, so I think themes this year that I've seen, I would definitely agree with a lot of those like late 90s electronic gated synth songs. I think like all three of them in my mind have this bridge towards the end of the song, which you probably didn't hear in the clips, where it's just that gated synth. Nothing has really changed, and it's like, you really need to do something interesting on stage to make this work, because it's boring as fuck.
Yeah,
like in an actual just song. So that's like a make or break with the stage thing. I think the other thing that got pointed out to me recently by like a bona fide Eurovision journalist was because of the now increased Ukrainian diaspora, because there's now like Ukrainian people in all other European countries, all voting for Ukraine from Germany, Poland, whatever.
Sure.
And also because Israel is just like paying people to buy 1 million eSIMs to vote for their song.
I made notes for every single one of the songs, and when I got to Israel, my only note is boo. And it's not only because of the Israel of it all, but that they also came in with another one of these, oh, we shall survive to see another day, beautiful. And I'm like, God, please, like, if you're going to
we'll survive. We'll survive to see another day. I don't know about the rest of these people.
But, you know, even if you're going to force yourself into this competition, like, at least just throw something like fun and goofy in. Just be like, you know, we have the dignity to not do a look at us suffering song.
It's I think it's real. It's all very like right wing psychosis, right? Of just like, we've won, but you have to love us for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. She's a survivor of Nova. And has been milking that for her entire career.
Much more small bean fascism, but yeah. just eyes roll out of my head as soon as that clip started playing.
But it does mean that because you have this like this legitimate and far more illegitimate fucking with the televote, it probably means another like jury favorite is going to win.
Okay.
So we're probably looking at like a ballad kind of thing.
Now, other than countries engaged in active armed conflict that affects their country's voting bloc, is it typical, like, for the people who really participate in this, how much does like personal nationalism go, or do countries and Euro watchers generally just look all around and be like, oh, I'm France, but you know what, like the Dutch, the Netherlands really had a good song this year, and I'm going, I'm going for them.
I'm of the personal belief that is the best way to watch Eurovision, is to like, these are 20-something songs I would never listen to ever again, but I'm going to yell at the TV for the rest of the night for Europe not liking my favorite song tonight. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
I think that's the best way to enjoy it. But no, there's definitely like a lot of people talk about like, oh, some countries have their favorites. Like Greece and Cyprus always send each other points. And there's like, oh, it's like corruption. It's like, no, the probably real explanation for it, if you're like a Greek person who speaks Greek and nothing else, there's only one other country in Europe you can really move to, and vice versa. It's just Greek people voting for Greece outside of Greece.
Yes.
So like that stuff does happen. So yeah, there is like a nationalism to it, I guess, but I think the real heads are always like spirit of the competition.
I'm going to vote for the song that I actually like. Yeah. I think is delivers the quality. Yeah. I mean, look, may the best song win.
With that being said, individually, what songs what are you feeling this year?
Okay, I starred, I think 4 or 5 songs.
Okay.
All right. The first, I have to say, now this is pure personal preference.
Of course.
I'm into this Australian song, the Milkshake song.
Yeah.
Yes. Very like sleazy electronic. It's a little party rock, which is a mode that I like. You know, it's on its it's on its face goofy, but it knows it is, but it still kind of bangs.
Yeah. I am to your point about how like the ceiling was quite low, but the floor was higher. Like I was quite bummed out about this year until the Australian song was released.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Eurovision can be fun again.
Yes.
This Australian man talking about his milkshake is wonderful.
And then explaining the metaphor, being like, now to be clear, when I say milkshake, this is what I'm talking about.
I'm talking to primarily an audience of English as second language people, so I've got to be super clear.
Really drive it home. Yeah, I mean, I get, because the floor ceiling thing, because there's what I'm getting from most of these songs is competence, which is fine, but what I'm looking for in Eurovision is big, goofy, weird.
So to that point, my favorite like gender of Eurovision song is not represented this year, because my favorite gender of Eurovision song seems like a joke, but actually has something very serious to say.
Okay, sure.
I think 2 years ago now, I think the first time we came on, we had Austria's "Who the Hell Is Edgar" song.
Yes, that was a good song.
That was a good song, and it was fun, very Eurodance, but then the chorus of just like 0.003, give me 2 months and my dinner will be free. It's just like, oh, Spotify has fucked over every musician. Yes. Is the point of this song. And I'm like, yeah, this is great. There's none of that this year. Either everything is a joke, and it's very clearly a joke, a la Australia, which is still fun.
Yeah.
Or anything that has some kind of meaning or heart to it is possibly not as serious as I would like it to be.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, the aesthetic of the song matches it as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, I feel like the more ballady songs that were just kind of like straight down the middle, like, I'm missing you, or when will love come home, stuff like that, where it's just kind of like, I'm sure it's a fine song, but, it's not an exceptional sentiment,
Yeah. Unless you've singled them out, I think this is probably a good time to bring up France.
Yes.
Because like that is, I think, probably leading the pack in terms of ballads. And I'm not going to lie, by the sheer fact of having a kid, that song makes me cry because it's called Maman, which is just like the French way of saying mama. And the like ending line of the chorus is in French. Now I'm the one who's called mom, and it's just like it's about her mom dying right before her child was born.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, that's nice.
Yeah, it's nice, and a lot of family stuff this year, I think, as well. Probably off the back of Europapa from last year.
Oh
song.
Yes, Europapa.
Yeah, everyone wanted to talk about the Euro. No one wanted to talk about the Papa.
Yeah, I had just written down like a dramatic for my France, so just dramatic Adele type thing, forgettable for me. But you know, I was also listening to it in France. I have no idea what they're talking about, or in French. I have no idea what they're talking about.
That's true. The other thing with France in the competition recently, and they're doing again this year, is like their aim in this competition is to get more French people to watch, like domestically. Okay. They premiered this song at like a Six Nations game, like the biggest rugby tournament in the world, like as a halftime show. And she's already like famous. Like she's famous in Germany for like French songs and stuff. So they're trying to pull out some big guns.
All right. Well, you know, I can't hate on them there. Again, I saw that and I was like, competent. It sounds like French Adele.
Yeah. Yeah. 100% correct assessment.
I'll go down to my next starred thing. I'm back. Croatia, who I remember really liking their song last year that was kind of like a freaky forest elf EDM thing. Or was that 2 years ago?
No, I think who are you thinking of last year? I think I know. So last year was Rim Tim Dagi Dim. It was the kind of like, the Croatian nu metal song.
Yes.
About emigrating. Yeah.
Yes. I still like that. Anyway, I like this again, over the top, like synthed out, like almost carnival-esque alternating female male vocals. Almost had like an Evanescence thing to it in the you know, the soaring female vocal, and then like the hard male vocal comes in.
Yeah.
As the style shifts. I don't know. It's just I like this kind of thing.
That's oh my god, that's Poison Cake by
yes, Poison Cake.
Poison Cake. The song, again, going back to my like all the joke songs don't have anything more. It's like the shallowest year, like for better or for worse. The song is just about killing someone with a poison cake.
Yes.
He's like, there's nothing else to it. Yeah, I don't know. And I was like, oh, is there something there? Former Yugoslavia, people taking poison, anything? And he's like, no, it's about exactly what it says on the tin. I'm like,
the video is kind of a Garden of Eden, poison apple or eating the apple snake thing. I completely appreciated how goofy it is. There's like a big, like the snake is just like a big rubber snake. There's no articulation to it, and he's just like writhing around with it. It's great.
Absolutely wonderful. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't really understand why, but I think it's destined to eat shit and not make it to the final.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I liked it, but you know, there's a lot of stuff in this mode, so it's a big pack in the middle that's going to be hard to stand out from.
I think I'm wondering if you've picked up on this, or we've talked about this before, but it is definitely better to be different than good in like this competition a lot of the time. Definitely the strategy of a lot of musicians sometimes.
Well, it works on me because those are the ones that I like.
That's fair.
Yeah. Going down the list, Czechia, another one that's, you know, in these kind of middle pack of, you know, pretty fairly standard electronic, you know, pop girl type things, almost a little Gaga inspired on this, but I don't know. It stuck out to me, especially when it like switches over from a kind of soaring pre-chorus to just a dance out like a chorus thing.
I saw that they showed that in the clip. Yeah. This is Adonis's Kiss Kiss Goodbye. Kiss Kiss Goodbye also strikes me as something a Lady Gaga song would be called.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This stands out for me as being probably the only ones with a little bit of a trick in the meaning thing. Again, going to family stuff. This is about an abusive dad.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, it's very fun, so I would not have clocked that.
Because like was the thing, everyone was like, oh, it's about like some sort of like relationship he got out of, like an ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend kind of thing. And he was like, yeah, actually no, it's about my dad who walked out on me when I was like 6. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he walked out on him. It wasn't like abuse.
We would hope, otherwise the mood is just going to get absolutely plummeted on the night. Yeah. I would, that's up there for me as well. I think it's, for me, after I heard what the song was about, it worked for me a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's like a dramatic zing there.
Yeah, because there's one of the lines of like, what is it? You told me you loved me, and it almost moved me.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is you have to we have the commentators, right? Because you have like every national broadcaster will come in with like an overdub of like a German announcer telling you what's happening, which country's coming up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that would be like, Polish one, a Slovenian one, blah, blah, blah. And unless that person mentions it before the song comes on in like the 2 seconds they have to mention that kind of thing, like it's make or break for the song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, it just comes across as like,
this is just a song.
Love.
Coming up is a donuts, kiss, kiss, goodbye. By the way, this is about abuse. Okay, here he is.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Yes.
Oh, God. Yeah. No, that's up there for me.
Yeah. I'll keep going down. This is kind of an honor. There are a few here that are honorable mentions, or I just wanted to like shout out because I thought they were funny. The Estonian one, which is doing like this fake Italian.
Yes.
That seems a little bit like maybe copying the Sabrina Carpenter, like, oh, it was a big song last year about espresso. But I'm not going to do it in the same way of like actually just writing, a good pop song like Sabrina. I'm going to make it like a riff on like 90s Italian Euro stuff, but it's also about ordering an espresso macchiato, but I'm Estonian.
Tommy Cash is wonderful. Endears me a lot because I've listened to his stuff before Eurovision. So like, and then just him doing like the kind of jokes me and my co-hosts would do on the regular podcast about Italians just for a whole song of just like, my money muy numeroso. I work around the clocko. That's why I'm sweating like a mafioso. And then listening to this song while I was shopping, and then I for the first time hear the line, "Life is like spaghetti. It's hard until you make it." And I'm just like, yes,
wow, that's actually very clever. I like that a lot.
You've done it, Tommy.
It's great that it's like 2025 and you can just do like, hey, mi Italiano jokes in the international Euro competition. Now, do Italians get pissy about this kind of thing?
This is well, it remains to be seen, I guess. I haven't heard of anyone, but it is very funny of just like the Estonian man who refuses to identify as Estonian because he's ethnically Russian and calls himself post-Soviet.
Okay.
Is like doing Italian face for 3 minutes in front of everyone in Europe. Let's see how this goes, I guess.
Yes.
Because similarly, I want to mention it now because it's related, because you have San Marino, a joke of a country, who previously...
They paid like an international star once to do their song, right?
Flowrider.
Yes, great.
They brought in Flowrider for a guest verse on their Adrenalina, and they're not Gasolina. We've got
not
Gasolina.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
But they've always been like notorious for being kind of like the drainage basket for the entire Eurovision national selection season, because whoever doesn't qualify for their like national selection in Estonia, in Latvia, or whatever, will just end up in the San Marino one, just as like a last ditch effort to go to Eurovision. And
so they'll like recruit. They'll let anybody sing if they put the San Marino flag on top of them.
They once sent us, I think 2006, they once sent a song called Facebook and then had to change it last minute because they weren't allowed to use the name Facebook.
They had to change it to the Facebook.
It was Social
It's
Media,
less clean.
I believe the song was called. Yeah, this year they're sending the song Tutta l'Italia, which just basically means totally Italian, and is kind of like the sincere version of what Tommy Cash is doing.
Let's see what I said for this.
Because it was
I said more classic Euro EDM stuff. It's pretty generic, and then throws in like an unmistakably Euro riff in the post chorus where you're like, was this originally composed for an oud or something?
Yeah, we're scraping the bottom of a barrel of MP3s that came free on your Nokia phone. It's great over here. Sorry, who do you have next on your list?
Finland, once again, bringing a super catchy, hard pounding, dramatic anthem that's a little silly, but like they do it with such conviction that you can't help but being drawn in. I feel like, what was the one last year? The one last year was sillier, but I feel like this is very much in the
Finland last
the one about
year.
Drinking, or was that 2 years ago?
That's Cha Cha Cha.
Cha. Yeah, that was one of my favorites 2 years ago. This feels like in that same production style, less silly, but yeah, again, they do you bring the conviction, and you can and the Finns can sell it, you know.
Yes, Finland, again, one of the few countries that is at least like predictable. I think it's just gone with the would appeal to an 11-year-old version of me.
Yeah,
is definitely the track, because they're also the ones more likely to send something metally or like metal influenced, which I appreciate, because they've sent in like 2021 they sent Rasmus. They got Rasmus back out again to send.
Okay.
If you remember, In the Shadows by the band Rasmus. This was like 2002. I've been searching, I've been waiting in the shadows all my life. Nope.
No, I don't think that penetrated into Ohio.
Oh, you know what? Ohio. I know it broke the states. Who was them last year? I can't quite remember. But yeah, this song is definitely up there for me as well, because it's up there with Australia of I always appreciate a horny song.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if this landed on you, but it's called Ich komme, the German for I'm coming.
Okay, nice.
And in the full song, it gets faster and faster and then suddenly ends. And it's in the original music video, she's just writhing in gold viscous liquid.
Okay.
It's a song about the female orgasm in Finnish.
Great.
And that's
nice.
the whole bit. She wrote a giant microphone with pyrotechnics in the live performance.
Wonderful. Yeah. I mean, this chick has attitude.
Yes.
I'm down for it. They definitely pop for me.
Hell yeah.
I'll keep going down. This one didn't really stick out, but I figured I'd bring it up because of your connection to the country. What do you think about Germany's song this year?
What do I think about Germany's song this year? Okay, it's difficult for me because the two musicians, I'm gonna highlight some of my bias here. The two musicians are citizens of Austria with like Hungarian Romanian descent.
Okay.
And thus that pissed off the far right parties in Germany.
Okay.
So that's
AfD is not voting for this song this year.
That's endeared them to me.
Okay.
Somewhat. And then
I mean, I was watching this. This is like, it felt very much like we've got Lorde at home. I guess we've got Lorde in Deutschland. Maybe even just by her hairstyle. But yeah, I don't know, kind of going for, again, like a Lorde or Charlie XCX type thing filtered through German sensibilities. It didn't really stand out to me, but I wanted to get your take on them. And also it just seemed different from what Germany had sent the last few years.
Yeah. Germany,
more down the middle for them. For the competition.
Germany Germany is one of those countries that routinely comes last, because they automatically make it to the final, which means you're just more likely to come last because you're not rooted out. I think the first year we had you on is when they sent the We Have Rammstein at Home.
Yes.
Blood and Glitter.
Yes.
That was the song I was like, okay, Germany is in the kind of sense that like France is pressing the France button.
Yeah.
That's like Germany does, I think, need to press the Germany button and what like the rest of Europe thinks of them. And then they
should send like a pop song by like a hard techno producer.
They
like,
should
get one of the guys from what is that thing, Hor Berlin, who like DJs on that YouTube channel. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. HOR.
Yeah.
Get one of those guys to compose like a hard style song and get like a female singer to go over it. Bring the yeah.
I think a problem with them is that they'd be like, they'd shout "Bring the hostages home" halfway through their set and just have to cut the feed. They should probably Germany should invest like all of its like arms money into resurrecting Scatman, and bring him back, Berlin's very own Scatman John. It is. You're right. It's very middle of the road. They either send the kind of like they cop on and they send the Rammstein stuff, or last year they just sent complete trash, absolute nothing.
I don't even remember last year's.
Yeah, exactly. There was like an elephant sound mixed in the background. I think it was meant to be a trumpet, but it sounded like an elephant. It was bad. It was bad. So I appreciate this, but it's just because I've just been burnt so badly by them before. It's like, going back to the abusive dad thing, is when he starts to make an effort. You're just like, okay, we're gonna appreciate this.
Going on, I also another more like just need to shout it out. Iceland, literally doing the Will Ferrell movie thing. What is it? What is that movie? The Eurovision, A Song of Ice and Fire or something like that. Yeah. A perfectly entertaining Will Ferrell movie, but like the song and style that Will Ferrell and what's her name? She's always so funny when she does comedy.
She is Rachel Adams.
Rachel Adams, yeah.
Like
the songs that they are making in that movie are this song.
Yes, yeah. It's fascinating. I've kind of relegated that mind of what seems to be like this newly formed tradition in Eurovision. But like without fail, guaranteed every year we will get some Wellerman remix ass song.
Yes.
At least one. Never the same country as well.
Yes.
But like it will show up. And
yeah. I mean, I do always find that charming when they're like, we're going to. I mean, who knows if this is actually like Icelandic traditional, but it's like we're at least going to project that we're like reaching into our country's traditional music, but bringing it up to the 21st century. Like I do find that charming, even if the songs are usually not that good.
No. They were in the odds. They were dead last for a long time. But then the various Eurovision parties start happening. So like big cities, like there's one in London, there's one in Madrid, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. They'll get as many Eurovision acts to just kind of like perform live in front of an audience.
Nice.
And that affects people. And they've been rising ever since. So I think they've been...
So are they a possible Cinderella story?
I think so. Maybe of like not doing well in the final, but at least qualifying. Because it just seems like, and I think that's communicated with the song and the video, they just seem fun.
Yeah.
It's just like, the song isn't great, but you seem kind of like a fun hang, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's goofy fun. I mean, I laughed when I saw it. And again, when I made the connection with the Will Ferrell movie, I was like, oh, wow, they did it. They just went for it.
Will Ferrell has finally understood Icelandic culture by, I guess, marrying a Swedish woman. Let's not.
Yeah. Oh, now he's leading Icelandic culture, which I guess it isn't that hard. There's not that many people there, so you make one cultural product that you can, like aligning a magnet. You can just kind of send it along its way.
Any former SNL actor could definitely conquer Iceland, like culturally, culture victory, yes. Lead them. Yeah.
They should do Icelandic SNL. I would like to see what they can put together with all because they do international SNL versions. There was like an official. I got really into watching this or like checking this out at one time because how did I get down this rabbit hole? Because I realized that they recast the Apple PC commercials in different countries. So like in the UK, it was Mark and Jeremy from Peep Show, where I'm a Mac, I'm a PC.
Yep.
And then in Japan, they had another two guys do it. And I was like, who are these guys? And they were like actors on Tokyo SNL.
Yeah.
Which then I got really into watching clips of for a while, where you can, because it's in Japanese, you can kind of like feel the rhythms of jokes going, but obviously you can't tell what's going on.
I think that is SNL though, right? Because
yes, exactly.
It's the rhythm of jokes. You don't need to understand any of the words.
This is certainly a joke-like premise or string of words or tones.
They figured out that there is actually like a beat behind jokes, right? Like it's like the reggaeton rhythm. You just have to hit this. Yeah. I remember seeing Korean SNL.
Yeah.
I just remember it being quite horny. Because it was just like, here's the next beautiful K-pop musician, and we're just going to like,
we'll do a bit where it's like a slovenly man like being very horny for her or something.
Yeah.
Over and over.
SNL in Iceland, I don't think would work because they would just record the intro once because there was only possibly 6 people you could have on it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Who's next on your list?
What do you think of the Ireland song?
Oh man,
I put this in my competent middle of the road Euro EDM stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't dislike it. I thought that lady seemed cool. I kind of like the retro video framing, but I think my note on it is like, this is fine, but in this field, it takes a lot to pop with a song like this.
So, oh my God, how do we explain this? So the reason,
yeah, give me the lore.
Oh God, the reason Finland is like fairly good in this competition is because their national selection is just really fucking polished.
Mm-hmm.
They have like the short list. They put it in a huge stadium. They get everyone hyped for it. They make music videos well in advance. They get the songs on Spotify as quick as they fucking can. Radio play, interviews, blah blah blah. I think they were the ones to invent like getting the musicians to do like generic YouTube stuff of like react to each other's songs and stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah. Content for the mill. Ireland, by comparison, has the worst national selection process. They put like, again, a short list usually of 6 songs on a stage that hosts like our kind of equivalent of like a late night talk show.
Sure.
Very small stage, only seating, suited, usually attended by the youngest woman will be 68, kind of stuff. And it does not work. And then you had the added problem of one particular producer, Louis Walsh, who made like Boyzone, if that ever penetrated the States, or Westlife.
I'm familiar with Boyzone from digging into the Robbie Williams mythology as I watched Better Man. Did you see Better Man?
I did not see Better Man.
It's actually it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Interesting.
It's not great, but it's pretty good. As somebody who doesn't have that much of an emotional connection with Robbie Williams, I think that they did a good job with that. The monkey plays. The monkey stuff is good.
The monkey does. I think that makes sense because I think the reaction everyone on this side of the pond, like who like grew up listening to Robbie Williams songs, was like he doesn't have that kind of like oomph behind him. So like the theory was they shot this movie straight laced, and then they were like, no, this is make it a monkey.
No. They absolutely, it was very, very intentional from the very beginning because all the monkey CGI is really good and intentional. Yeah, I like that movie. In fact, you can hear me talk about it with film critic David Sims on my podcast and introducing.
Hell yeah. The getting back to Ireland's song though.
But yes, I know Boyzone. Very funny name for a band.
It's so funny. Louis Walsh was a tyrant, right? He was relevant kind of like in the early 90s, and then just like was one of the X Factor judges in the UK.
Sure.
Along with Sharon Osbourne and Simon Cowell. And he just hasn't had a successful band since like Westlife, which came after Boyzone. But he would always send whatever bunch of like rural Irish twinks he had convinced to be in a band to the Eurovision like selection, and we would occasionally select them against the nation's better judgment. And they have cut him out this year, at least. And
he's finally over the hill of boy. He's finally out of the boy zone. He's exited the boy zone.
He's exited the boy zone, possibly into the man zone, unknown at this point. Yeah, we just Ireland just, we used to dominate this competition back when it was just setting like lovely boys in sweaters to sing at your nan.
I mean, that is one of your top national resources.
It is lovely and offensive boys.
Yes. With the voice of an angel.
Exactly. But then we got wrecked when the like Soviet Union collapsed, and it was a bunch of like professionally touring musicians from Poland were like, we need to make it in the West right the fuck now. Who had like experience singing in stages and stuff. Yeah. So Emmy, I forget her song's Like a Party. I definitely remember that. She is a known quantity from the Norwegian national selection.
Okay.
She is Norwegian. And she's been in Melody Grand Prix, their national selection, a handful of times and not made it through. So I think she just kind of came down to like, the European backwater and was like, I can dominate.
I can clean up here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm rooting for it because I feel like a lot of the songs that might edge it out of the final, I just feel like personally are worse. So yeah. I just want her to beat them.
Yeah, again, there's a big middle there, and I think that a lot of things, it's going to come down to a matter of, is this a 7.1 or a flat 7?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Anthony Fantano scales. Or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can move on a little bit. We don't need to talk about this much, but Lithuania, I wrote this down as Baltic The Killers. Which I always want to like shout out because I do always appreciate like the straight up rock tracks.
Yeah. And they're actually doing all right. Like it's actually a risky move to do because rock doesn't have like the huge amount of pageantry required for this. That's why like metal does better.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is
you can't rely on like the hugely elaborate stagings because you are actually 4 guys playing instruments.
Yeah, and there's a person limit on the stage. Tavo Akis by Catharsis. Yeah, no, I'm rooting for them as well. Like I'd like to see something more akin to what I think people my demographic actually listen to.
Yeah.
Be successful.
Let's see what else I got in here. Not a lot of stuff here. I mean, this is my samey thing. Again, shouting out just like straight up rock tracks. I was kind of interested in Portugal's band doing a kind of like 70s FM radio mid-tempo rock throwback.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a hugely standout song, but I think that they nailed that aesthetic, which was kind of surprising to see in this context.
Yeah. The Portuguese entries of late have been interesting because they've made their national selection process into the fuck you, this is going to be the most Portuguese shit you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
And it works, and they've been doing well like domestically, like everyone in Portugal watches it and then they send it to Eurovision and everyone's like, oh yeah, Portugal's just kind of a sad version of Spain.
I guess. I mean, it stood out to me because it's different. It's different than everything else here. In a style that is not represented anywhere else. So, congrats. I'm sure that band is fine. Hopefully they're popular in Portugal. All right, I got 2 more.
Go for it.
Spain.
Ooh, Diva.
Yes. I have that as Shakira by the way of more 90s Euro, but it's like my favorite of those.
Yeah.
What can I say? I'm a sucker for Sabor. And that chick is hot. So yeah, that of those like middle, like kind of that middle pack of Euro pop inspired things, that one stood out to me. And I thought one of my favorites there. Thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree. Because it's Spain and they're one of the countries that automatically gets in the final, there's a real risk they're going to come last with this, which is a shame because I think it's decent enough. I also, like I said, this is being a really shallow year. I like the shallowness of this song because it's the whole song is I'm a diva, but I support other women, and I'm just like, sure.
In the footsteps of that awful Katy Perry single from this year. It's a woman's world, and we're lucky to be living in it.
It's just like, the Americans try Vine, the Chinese come along with TikTok. Let's have another country take a stab at it.
Yeah,
see
sure.
if they can make it work.
But no, I thought that was good. And then also bring up the very end, that UK song, like big girl group rock anthem. I thought it was catchy. I thought it was different enough in the pop lane, in the pure pop lane, to stand out.
Yes,
and I like the production, and I thought that the production style was unique for this kind of thing.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think so I hate this song.
Okay,
but I do totally recognize that. So weird thing I'm going to bring it to you. They describe themselves as a country band.
Okay, well, do they know what that means?
Right? That's also my thoughts as well. But they do have, and this is less surprising, a musical theater background.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you listen to the full song, it is very. I don't like a lot of musical theater stuff, but it is very like a song from a musical.
I mean, I was just listening to a clip again. Look, they're wrong. It's not a country song, but I get what they're going for, maybe in just like the quality of the kind of harmonies that they're using. It really reminds me more of like they're pulling from Avril Lavigne or something, which is good and fine.
I agree with you though, because not only is it different in this competition, I've never seen something very musical theater adjacent. Again, more aggressively obvious when you hear like the verses. I have never seen that in Eurovision before, and I think by sheer novelty, that's going to stand out.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to do well.
Okay, those are my picks for the stuff I liked and the stuff that I thought was interesting. What do you got? What did I miss? Who are the odds-on favorites?
Okay, before I get into the favorites, well, actually, they might be related. No, okay, I think for me, I'm really enjoying Estonia, Tommy Cash. I'm really enjoying Australia. I feel like Finland is going to be a lot of fun on the night. Like,
those I think are the leaders in the goof genre.
Oh, absolutely. This is definitely like I've had some beers in me. I feel like Erica Vickman is definitely going to hit a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else worth mentioning before I get into favorites? No, I don't think so. I will say that we've got... Yeah, we can just get into the favorites. No, sorry. No, I'm wrong. My notebook landed on the page of someone that I should bring up.
Okay, yes.
Did you hear Malta?
Malta... Yes, I noted. I said that I kind of like this. I said big diva EDM club banger, corny but catchy and with attitude. Oh yes, the literally bigger lady.
Yes.
So
Malta was like a very early kind of like we call it like televote favorite, right? It's not going to appeal to the juries. It's going to be like a pick up the phone every like various kind of like the fuckable wing of the audience is going to be really into this. But originally this because this song was called Kant, Kant. That is the Maltese word for song. And she was saying the whole chorus was serving Kant.
Sure.
Yeah. The whole song's built on this like pun, basically. This bilingual pun. Then the BBC in the UK complained that this woman was going to be on stage saying Kant.
Isn't that like the number one curse word that you can say in the UK? Don't the Brits say that for like every other, like I can barely bring myself to say that word because it's so like disgusting here, or it's got me like it's usually filled with like a specific kind of gendered venom that I just like don't like saying. But Brits, it's all your mates down at the pub, they're all
they're all cunts. No, and like I think I would definitely have had that reaction if it had been Australia who made the complaint, because if there's a country in this competition that says it more, it's them. Like having to explain the difference between a sick cunt and a dog cunt. One is good and one is bad. So she got like completely shafted. by like this complaint because there's like I have to rewrite this song in like,
and now the central pun doesn't work, and like,
yeah, I think it's actually kind of, she won in the end. You've kind of heard the new version because I think she's got like this, she's gonna have this thing now where I guarantee you on the night everyone in the audience is just going to say the word for her.
Yeah.
And you're going to hear it through the mics.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this song is catchy, knowing the thing about the pun. Yeah, and now she has a backstory, silenced for pun.
Yeah. Then I guess we can talk about some favorites. We've already mentioned France. They're probably, I think, going to do quite well with the juries. Another one that's I think is going to do well with the juries is Austria.
Yeah, I remember that. Like, okay, one of my notes for this one is, okay, settle down. It's like, it's a dramatic, like a very standard, like dramatic ballad, but she's doing like the straight opera vocals over it, and like we get it. You've got the opera chops, but on a pop song, I'm a little like, again, all right, it's a little much.
I think no, you nailed it in one. The calm down attitude is definitely like, cool your jets here.
Okay, we get it. You can sing. It's like when your musical theater friends are singing, like, are doing karaoke with you, or singing Happy Birthday, and like somebody can
There's
actually
a producer
sing
in the audience. Yeah. So JJ's Wasted Love is, I think, meant to do quite well. The only thing is the only real like kind of strategic problem I have with it is it's kind of copying what won last year, and that never works.
Okay.
We had Switzerland win last year with Nemo's Broke the Code.
Yes. Which I thought was more interesting than this song.
I think it is
right?
too.
It's like in that same lane, but had a little more like twist, some twist going for it,
Yeah. I mean, JJ is like classically trained at the most famous opera in the world. That's got like something going for him. But Nemo did this thing where they moved from like, albeit not very impressive rap by the grand spectrum of,
yes,
music out there, but going from, serviceable rap to then operatic hits
for a Swiss person.
Yeah, for a Swiss German speaker. Seeing them speak Swiss German afterwards was just, you don't speak German, but I cannot stress enough how like German has this like, oh God, Hitler's here kind of vibe to it. Yeah. It's like all very harsh and very threatening. And then
Ambition.
Yeah, Ambition, good. But then, my God, Swiss German is just like, oh, I've wandered into the land of the fucking Rice Krispie elves. Like everyone's just going like hooply dooply around me, and I'm like, holy fuck. And seeing them was like, go back to rapping in English. This was far more respectable.
Great.
The other big favorite, and probably a big televote favorite, is, much to my chagrin, Sweden.
Let's see what they have like, wait, no. Norway had...
Norway has island rhythms, which I really love.
Fuck, losing you one more time. Still here. Norway has like the Swedish style boy band. Like I was like the classic like 2000s American Swedish, like, Max Martin production style boy band. Sweden had... Am I off base with that?
Norway has the island rhythms guy.
Okay.
Be My Own Lighter. Da, 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 da.
Okay. Oh yes, you know what? I actually did like this Swedish song. I said, finally some funky weird shit, like a chanting traditional anthem. This is also in the goofy category.
Yes, this is a pure joke song. Bada Bada Bastu. I do not know what that translates as. They are technically Finnish Swedes. This is your Moomin country. This is the Swedish people who live in Finland. The song is just about how great saunas are.
That's what the video was as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By far, I think the runaway favorite at the moment.
Yeah.
To certainly win people at home.
I mean, goofy and catchy.
Yeah, I like it more than what Sweden usually does, which is very clean,
showing off those production chops.
Yeah. So I like this a good deal more of just you've done something a bit silly.
But it's your least favorite of the silly songs.
It's just that it is Sweden, and I don't want them to be rewarded for this behavior. It's just because I know they will go back to the generic. This is a fluke. Like everyone else in their national final was this very clean, polished pop music. I think I mentioned it before to you. The musical equivalent of being in an airport. It's clean, it's safe, and expensive. And then they finally break the cycle with just a joke song by some very nice looking lads, and I still want them to be rewarded for this.
And you're like, so you get to do this well as well.
Yeah. It's like when you find out that the quarterback of the football team is also smart.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, no.
The joke songs are supposed to be the advantage of the less well performing countries.
Yeah, this is meant to be the territory of your Finlands and Moldovas.
I get that. I get that. Is Sweden still the number one? We went over the top winners last year, right? And
they are currently joint with Ireland. If they win again, yeah. So yes, there's also that kind of nationalist sentiment within me. Yeah. The Swedish dogs. There is. I think that is everything I do have to say about the songs.
Yeah.
And I do want to just bring up one last thing with you unless you got something else to say about the songs. Which is Moldova this year.
Yes.
You may have noticed they're not in there.
Yes.
Actually. Because Moldova was fully set to participate, but then they had their national final. They're like their national selection.
Yeah.
And it was so poor, they pulled out last minute and now probably have to pay a giant fine for doing so.
Well, like they just didn't feel that any of the songs that they got to the nationals were worth even submitting.
They were
Moldova had some good songs in the last few years, right? I feel like I remember really enjoying one or two of them.
This is the only thing that they participate in as a nation, basically. They're not like a football country. They don't have any sports.
That they can be competitive in.
Yes. Yeah. They've historically invested a lot of money. Like, I think we mentioned this before. Epic Sax Guy comes from Moldova.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, they've also always been one of those countries that have been very consistent. I think the vibe I've described before is I'm drunk at the opening scene of a Wes Anderson movie.
Sure.
Like, everything's twee and there's like a form of public transport in the background that no one really does anymore, like a funicular.
And I'm sure that engenders a lot of, a lot of good naturedness for the people of being like, oh, Moldova's back and they've got another good goofy entry. We love to see Moldova succeed in this. Yeah,
it's the fun cousin at the wedding kind of situation. But they've always run their national selection like, okay, we have an open call for anyone to join, but then we'll also kind of like get some industry darlings to participate as well. And, sometimes the open call wins out, blah, blah, blah. This time they couldn't really convince any of the industry darlings to come along for whatever reason. That's all backroom, smoky room deals. We don't know.
Sure. And
then everyone who participated in the kind of like open casting call, we had, oh my God, we had like a guy and a girl looking the most Slavic a technically not Slavic country can look, with like rapping about getting that like coochie. There is this very old guy who has always participated in the opening call because he just seems to be this guy who really wants to sing.
Sure, yeah.
And unfortunately, he fell asleep during his live performance, while standing. He's old. Like he was there before the Soviet Union and was there after, kind of old.
God.
Uh, and God, what else was there? There was a guy who was singing off the lyrics he had in his phone notes app.
So just bottom barrel stuff. Like, I mean, just to save face, they were like, we can't send any of this.
We can't send this. How dare you? We are the nation of the Numa Numa song. How dare you do this to us? Yeah. So they just.
I didn't know Numa Numa was. Wow, that Moldova really punching above its weight on meme songs.
Oh, Dragusta Dinte, absolute banger.
That song. One of the most impressive feats of aughts pop songwriting is Rihanna flipping that and T.I. flipping that into an actually good, incredible pop song. I mean, Live Your Life rocks.
It does, and I think it's not the only song to do that, and it's like got huge legs. A friend of mine who's a journalist in Shanghai recently sent me a video of just like office karaoke party thing that all gone out, and there is a Chinese girl band pop banger that is again based off of the
Numa Numa,
part of that. Yeah. And they're all just going absolutely fucking mental for it.
What can you say? It rips.
It does.
That guy dancing, the joy is real.
The joy is real. I want to learn it. I want to learn the lyrics and be able to sing it perfectly.
In perfect Moldovan.
In Moldovan, Romanian.
Irish boys stuns by singing Numa Numa in perfect Moldovan.
Ask not to leave Chisinau. Oh god damn it. Any final thoughts on this year's?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just return back that like it's all there. So many of these are fine. They're totally fine songs. I would like to see a little more extremes in the next year's batch. I don't know how far they go. I guess I'm rooting for if I had to put my one pin on the root or what I'm rooting for, I'd say that Australian song, just from like pure Aussie LMFAO energy to it.
I think to quote an old viral tweet, LMFAO does have like doing an electronic duo with your uncle is serious Belgian energy. Like it's a miracle that band is American. Like, I
mean, I've fully come around to really actually enjoying most LMFAO songs. So
yeah, I can respect that. I think that's up in my top as well. I think if I had to vote this year, I would probably be like, yeah, the Australian song has endeared me to it. I'm not one of those people who, you know, it's a common thing over this side of the world of just like, oh, why is Australia in it? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know, it's the answer I always give is Europe is defined by like per capita amount of people with white dreads, and that's why like Australia and Israel are here.
I mean, but I guess it opens a question of like, why does South Africa or Canada not participate? I mean, if you're just including all of the Anglosphere as Europe.
I am to be honest, my response to this would just be like, yeah, fuck it, it's a bit of telly, get everyone in. Like Putin signed a decree that he's going to make his own Eurovision Song Contest, and that just feels like a bad economic indicator when your president has to sign a decree that it's going to happen.
Yeah. I would love for America to throw an entry in just to see what we would come up with, or who would bite that out. Like, would we send like a real star from America, or like, you know, somebody who has like a name and a career and stuff, or would we like pull up something, you know, weird and random?
Macy Gray.
I was gonna think JoJo Siwa. I feel like she's in the right position to be the American entry to Eurovision.
I think you get Cisco, and basically you're just paying off the Ricky Martin lawsuit stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. You need like technically talented but has been unfairly washed kind of quality.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. I think realistically, if America was in the competition, it would just be the UK again, of like, oh, we have such a rich tradition of making, you know, music at home. Why can't we win this?
That's why I would like to. I mean, that is the thing that I would like to see, of being like, oh, yeah, obviously, you know, our cultural traditions have have taken over the world. Like I saw a funny tweet the other day that's like, you really have to, like, the cultural footprint of hip hop is so insane. Some guy started scratching two records in a house party in the Bronx, and now there are finished children's songs with a rap verse in them. Like,
yeah.
But I think like it would be funny to see like, oh, we are clearly the colossus of culture in the entire world. Surely, if we wanted to field a Eurovision song, it would win. Without a competition. Yeah. And then you send something there and be like, folks, you have no idea what the aesthetics of the European mind is,
Yeah, or like, I think there would be a combination of that and hubris. Like, we can win by sending like the secret fifth Destiny's Child that no one remembers.
I believe there is actually a fifth Destiny's Child.
Oh God, is there?
Yeah, I don't remember. If Molly was here, she would be able to tell me. I think there are 5 total people who were Destiny's children.
I thought it was 4. I only remember the 3.
There was a 4th, but I think there was actually a 5th.
Oh, interesting. Okay. That's for another episode. I'll talk to you about that next year. Where can people find you and your lovely voice?
I'm on Twitter at Say What Again. I produce Jabba Trap House. I produce And Introducing, a podcast about music that comes out very irregularly at this point, but we have a big back catalog of a lot of different things that you can tap into. That's me and my wife talking about music. And that's basically it.
Oh yeah. As always at the end of these, I have to shout out GYROVISION 5, our boycott-friendly Eurovision, is happening Sunday, 18th of May at Lark Berlin. €20 in, and all money goes towards the Abu Situ Fund and Heal Palestine, 2 charities that are helping kids get out of the way of Israeli bombs, mostly. So do come on down. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm getting this year, I'm finally getting the sequined cargo shorts made for me to again really hammer home the 11-year-old Kieran hosts Eurovision. So be a lot of fun. Come on down.
If I was anywhere near that side of the world, I would come through for that, but I'm not.
And if you're not, twitch.tv/Corner Späti. Do not tell Universal Music Group at all that this is happening. And we will catch you next time. Ciao, ciao.